Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist, and welcome to Star Codes. I am so excited about this episode. So we are going to look at the total solar eclipse, the new moon eclipse in Aries, that has been abuzz way beyond astrology because of its impact and its magnitude. And of course, we're going to look at both the astrology and numerology as always. So let's begin with the timing of what's also called the Great American Eclipse. It happens on April 8th at 7:21 p.m. Universal Time in Greenwich, England, and that is 2:21 p.m. Eastern, New York, and 11:21 a.m. Pacific in LA. And you don't need to be in Aries to benefit from this forecast. Somewhere in your birth chart, this eclipse is taking place and it is impacting everyone. So eclipses happen every 6 months and they usually come in pairs. And this time around, we began on March 25th with the Libra full moon eclipse, a lunar eclipse. And now the second eclipse is this really big, humongous one, the Aries total solar eclipse. So why is it so big? Well, first of all, there are so many conjunctions going on around this eclipse, and conjunctions are really the most potent, intense connection between planets that we can have in astrology. It's when two or more planets are in the exact same location. So first of all, starting with the solar eclipse, the sun, moon, and Chiron are all at 19 degrees. And not only that, Chiron is at the exact same minute, 19 degrees, 24 minutes, as the sun and moon. So this is about as exact as it gets. And that creates a stellium with Chiron. And Chiron is truly the planet of healing, of sacred healing, of unveiling personal and collective pain and guiding us through a beautiful transformation that takes us into a high vibrational experience. So the transformation itself is meant to shift you through love and compassion and help you through the pain so you can transcend it and use it as a learning experience, as another tool in your toolbox of understanding and wisdom. So as I was saying, there are many other conjunctions to look at. First off, we have the fact that for the previous first eclipse, the one in Libra, the full moon eclipse, Venus was conjunct Saturn. And for this eclipse, the Aries new moon total solar eclipse, Mars is conjunct Saturn. Why is that so important? Well, Venus, for the Libra eclipse, Venus is the actual planetary ruler of Libra. And for Aries, the Aries total solar eclipse, Mars is the planetary ruler of Aries. So both the planetary rulers are conjunct, merged with Saturn. And Saturn is in Pisces. Now, Venus represents the divine feminine frequency, and Mars represents the sacred masculine frequency. And here comes Saturn in Pisces, enveloping both right before their respective eclipses, helping to release old stuck patterns about what it means to be feminine, what it means to be masculine, to move away from the old Piscean age patterns. Remember, this is happening in Pisces, these two conjunctions with Saturn. And Pisces is connected to the other realms. It's connected to the unseen. And so not seeing, for example, that you might be giving away your power, being naive, because you're not seeing reality. And so we are coming to terms with 2,000 plus years of giving away our power in servitude versus being of service. And keep in mind that Mars, the ruler of this total solar eclipse, the ruler of Aries, is conjunct Saturn in Pisces, the final sign, and will also start its new 2-year cycle when it moves into Aries in a few weeks. So there's all those new beginnings to consider as well. And speaking of Mars, another conjunction to look at, again, this is the ruler of this Aries eclipse. Mars will be conjunct Neptune as well in April, and then moves into its own sign of Aries on April 30th. So that is huge. And we haven't even talked about the big conjunction of the year that also happens in April. On April 20th, Jupiter conjuncts Uranus. And that is a major shift. So they are conjunct in Taurus. And remember that Saturn is conjunct Venus and Mars in Pisces. And then there's the Aries total solar eclipse, which is Moon conjunct Sun and also conjunct Chiron. So those are all the conjunctions going on in the signs of Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. And all the planets, as you can see, are bunched together within a very small area of the heavens. This is very intense energy. It's pronounced, it signals upheaval, it signals an upgrade. So think of the words upheaval and upgrade in really the same breath, because you're shifting, all of us are shifting from the old to the new, and that will require some major movement of energy, and that includes earth energy as well. So this Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, which I'll do another episode on, it does take place in an earth sign, Taurus. So we've got Pisces, Aries, Taurus. Taurus will activate the earth energy for this major shift. Jupiter expands everything. Uranus is about excitement, breakthroughs, unexpected events, surprises. And so that would indicate some earth movement. No matter how it shows up, it is there to shake up the energy, loosen up the energy, and help us to move forward in a new way so that we can see the ability to shift at any moment in time. So this is a really exciting conjunction. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. Also because when Jupiter conjuncts really any planet, not only does it expand that planet's meaning, but Jupiter is a benefic, just like Venus. And a benefic brings blessings. And in Jupiter's case, it brings abundance and joy and wisdom and hope and faith and gratitude. And there's just so much happiness and a feeling of feeling lucky with Jupiter. So all of these conjunctions are happening during this eclipse. So that shows you right away that we are experiencing new beginnings. Aries is the first sign. This is an Aries total solar eclipse. So we are literally moving into a new era. So it's igniting the real important need for personal courage, to have the courage to make some major shifts. Now, one more thing about Jupiter conjunct Uranus is it doesn't happen often, because Jupiter has a 12-year cycle and Uranus has an 84-year cycle. So they don't come together that often. It's approximately every 14 years. So for it to happen around this huge eclipse event is quite phenomenal. And it means that the eclipse really will trigger a lot. It will bring new leadership. It will bring a change across many forms of corporate power, political power, health and wellness, the arts, whatever you can think of. The leadership is impacted because we have, with eclipses, they tend to focus on leadership, on leaders. And in ancient times, the astrologers, the advisors, would advise leaders about the eclipses coming up for when they went to war or for when they made plans for something important. So eclipses always were like a big tool that leaders used for major events that they were engaged in. So they do govern leaders. So we're going to see with this change, this amazing new era of energy that's flooding in with all these conjunctions. Conjunctions are new beginnings. This eclipse is in Aries, the first sign. It's a total solar eclipse, a new moon, new beginnings. There's so much new beginnings energy, and I haven't even talked about the degree. It's at 19 degrees. 19 is the Prince of Heaven number in numerology. 19 means the sun, the light of the sun. The Prince of Heaven was the name for the sun, the light. And 19 reduces 1 plus 9 equals 10. 10, 1 plus 0 equals 1. It is a 1 of new beginnings. The first single digit is 1. It means being, the first thing that happens. It's new beginnings energy. There's so much new beginnings energy around this eclipse that there is no way to turn back. And so the leaders of the world are very much impacted. There will be shifts as a result of this eclipse, and they will not necessarily come right away. They may come 6 months to 2 years later. But certainly this year, we are going to see a lot of shifts. And I'm not just talking politically, I'm talking everywhere, that there's either a change of leadership personnel-wise, or there's a change of how the leader actually exudes their power. Their power will have to turn over this next period of time into being of service for the good of all, as opposed to being self-centered. And that's a tall order. It's a big nut to crack, but it is cracking open now. And so you can really see this as the cracking open of many preconceived assumptions that will be very much challenged. And that's a good thing. We want change when it's for the better of all. And what will help this change too is that Mars, which is conjunct Saturn, both of them are also sextile to Jupiter. And that does bring an increased desire for success and focusing on very high vibrational positive outcomes and feeling financial flow, though feeling the abundance to support the goals and feeling a sense that the good fortune is there for you because the stars are emitting a sense of good fortune. And then also, aside from those wonderful opportunities from Mars and Saturn sextile to Jupiter, we also have Mars sextile Uranus, because remember that Jupiter and Uranus are in a conjunction. So we've got two conjunctions that are sextiling each other, and that is amazing. Mars is the ruler of the eclipse. So for Mars to have such beautiful aspects is really, really good news. So with Uranus and Mars, these are the two sudden event shifts that come out of the blue planets. And so there's going to be a great intensification of your ability to be creative, and not impulsively so, though you may feel somewhat impulsive, but really yearning for independence in your creative ability to make change. Quick decisions, news flashing that's like quick, like one thing after the other, surprising developments, and goals directed with amazing results. Mars really goes for it. Mars goes for the goal. And your desire to achieve is really not only more exciting, but you're more flexible. You're able to actually go with the flow and listen to feedback and get a lot done. So your desire for fun and excitement is raised as well. It's an amazing time to create change in your life overall. I mean, this is really a big, big moment, and one that we've been waiting for a long time. So give it a little time. Mercury's retrograde. If there's something that you really feel inclined to change, yes, absolutely make the move. Just know that it may take a little time if it involves others or contracts, anything like that. But this is an awakening moment. There's not much I can say more than it's happening mostly over the US, part of northern Mexico, also part of eastern Canada, this eclipse, the exactitude of it. And that means those countries especially will be impacted, especially, of course, the US, because it goes all the way from Texas to Maine. And it creates a cross with the eclipse from 2017 that started in, I believe, Oregon and went all the way down to Charleston, South Carolina. So it creates that X. And this is 7 years or 6.5 years later. So it does actually really impact the US, which is obviously where I'm from, and also Mexico and Canada as well. So we can look to those countries in particular for major events coming up in the next 6 months to a year. We are in the midst of taking our power back, and the awakening is major. It truly is. So to help you with that, I do have a webinar that focuses on taking your power back, and it is star code astrology numerology based, and you can watch it. It's free at spiritualmasteryclass.com, and it really goes into these times and how we're really learning how to become unique and honoring that. And we look at your rising sign, we look at your moon and sun and the impact that they have on an abundant and happy life, because that's what we all want, is to feel good, right? So this is a wonderful webinar, and it really shows you how to connect with spirit. And a lot of secret tools are also shared. So enjoy that at spiritualmastery.com and have an incredible eclipse. I wish you all the best. Lots of love. And I'll see you next week.